and the fact that you accepted our invitation to be here with us. We're very grateful as ever to our sponsors who support us in this endeavor, beginning with Saul Fraser of Global Properties. This time, the National Council for Civic Education has also added their voice. They feel it's their role and duty to conduct civic education in the country, in fact, in relation to elections. Also, APS have also joined in our group of sponsors today. And DK Telecoms have agreed to provide us internet services here today, and therefore becoming our sponsors. Tonight's debate, the rules are easy. 5 minutes will be given to each of these ladies here, beginning with Ms. Yamundao, to talk about GDC, their positions, or anything she wants to discuss about party policy in relationship to an introduction of who she is, what role she's playing in the party. From her, we will go to Tida Kijera. From Tida Kijera, we'll go to Honorable Yakumba Jaite, and then to Fatu Jallo of APRC. This is the way we're going to lay out the rules today. But also, at the end of this, we will ask each other questions directly, but we'll also be dictating that each would have a minute or up to 90 seconds to respond to a question. And each of you would also have 1 minute to borrow up to 3 times in the next 90 minutes. So if you're in the middle of an argument or response and you've not completed, you are allowed to borrow a minute. But you cannot do this more than 3 times during the course of the 90 minutes. If the rules are clear, ladies, may we begin with Ms. Yamundao Faye of GDC. The floor is all yours.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Yamundao Fatou Faye. I am 27 years of age. I am part of the regional committee, KM Regional Committee, of which I am the PRO. I am so humbled to be part of this debate because it is high time we let women speak their mind and be in leading roles when it comes to politics. So the party I am from is Gambia Democratic Party, which is the GDC, and our color is purple. Our party leader is His Excellency Honorable Mama Kande. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yamundao Faye, GDC. If you may turn your mic off. And next is Ms. Tida Kijera of GMC, and you also have up to 5 minutes to introduce yourself, your party, your policies, and anything in relation to an introduction that you may want to do up to 5 minutes. The floor is all yours.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tida Kijera. I am the Chief Executive Media Officer for my party, GMC. GMC is Gambia Moral Congress. I am honored to be part of this great event today to represent my party. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I thank the organizers. I thank the leadership of my party for giving me this opportunity to come here today. As a country, we are encountering a lot issues which are affecting our lives. As a nation, we need to come together to fight for the betterment of our people. GMC as a party, we are trying all our best to know exactly what Gambians want, and we are ready to tackle those problems. As we go further, the topic today is about women, youth, and children. We will explain to you why GMC should give the opportunity to rule this country. So I thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Madam Tida Kijera of GMC. The next speaker is the Honorable Yakumba Jaite of UDP. You have the floor for up to 5 minutes to introduce yourself, your political party, your position as in relation to the topic today.
Thank you very much, Aruna. Thank you for creating this platform for us to debate, particularly on this topic today, women, youth, and children. My name is Yakumba Jaite. I'm the Female Secretary General of the Secretary General of the Female Youth Wing of the United Democratic Party. The United Democratic Party, we've just celebrated on the 23rd of August, 25 years of existence. 25 hard years, I would say. 25 years we were in the forefront of fighting for the rights and democracy of the Gambian people. As we are now approaching the December elections, today I have the opportunity, representing my party, to explain to you our policies in regards to women, youth, and children. The United Democratic Party intends to institute a capable government. We are going to do this by relying on our diversities and professionalisms. We would all agree that the United Democratic Party has the highest capacity of personnel, and we are confident we are going to deliver. We are confident we are going to win in the 2021 December elections. And in doing so, the United Democratic Party has identified women, youth, and children, giving the population demographic of youth, women, and children in this country. The statistics shows that 72.4% of the population are youth and women combined. Therefore, the United Democratic Party, at the heart of its policy considerations, put these two constituencies into consideration, that is the youth and women. And as a result, the UDP will rely on agriculture as a prime sector for investment to raise income, reduce poverty, and create food security and employment for youth and women. This is the plan, and as we have time, we would move forward to explain in detail to you how this is going to be funded and how we arrive at these policy decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Yakumba Jaite, UDP. The final speaker for the opening session is Fatou Jallow of APRC. Ma'am, you have the floor for up to 5 minutes.
Assalamu alaikum. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. My name is Honorable Fatou Jallow from the Alliance for Patriotic Reorientation and Construction, that is the mighty APRC. I am very much grateful to be here today. I want to thank my party leaders for giving me the opportunity to come and attend this important meeting, gathering today. APRC is not a party that is not known in the Gambia. We have been ruling this country for 22 years with massive achievements, massive development in the country, that is to empower women and to empower youths. And we have done a lot to empower youths in this country. And, we have done a lot of achievements which will be discussed later, maybe in the discussions, because APRC is known worldwide. We have transformed the Gambia, changed the Gambia. You know, the name of Gambia before was not recognized. When you say Gambia, people think it's Zambia. But because of the APRC government, that is why Gambia is known worldwide. We have done a lot of achievement. We have bring the TV and other things in this country. So it's a party of, you know, difference, and it's a party of development. So I am very grateful to be here today. And as the discussion goes, we will discuss more about what APRC have done for this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Fatou Jallow. If you may turn your mic off. And for the media, Keba Kamara is here. If you have any questions, you can begin giving him the questions so that we may expedite the process this time as opposed to what happened the last time. And then we may get the flow of the questions faster and better. So jot your questions, share with Keba Kamara, and we will get it here, inshallah. So we're coming back to you, Yamundao Fai. Do you have a reaction to anyone here and any of the statements for up to 1 minute, 30 seconds?
Sorry. I don't have any reactions because initially I thought you said we should just introduce ourselves. But now that they've done that, I've understand better. So I'll use just 1 minute to say a little bit of my party.
Go ahead.
GDC government will be reform all sectors, institutions, and parastatals. And all enterprises all through the Gambia, because we believe it will bring closer the people and services to our country. We are not only going to focus on government and the other parastatals. We'll go down to the grassroots and meet the other people, like the local governments, from the chiefs and the alcalos. When it comes to women empowerment in a GDC government, even before we are a government, now that we're a shadow government, most positions in the GDC executive members are women. We have a deputy women mobile, we have a deputy party leader who is a woman. We have a youth president who is young. We have the youngest press secretary. We also have the youngest parliamentarian, if not only in Gambia, but in the whole of Africa. So which means GDC are not sidelining young people and women. Thank you.
Thank you. We will come to you again, Tida Kijera. If you have any reactions to any of the statements that were made earlier here, up to 90 seconds.
Definitely, I don't have any reactions. I just thank them for their commitment for the country.
Honorable Yakumba Jaite, any reactions? 90 seconds.
Mr. Drame, thank you very much. Again, I would just like to congratulate the women for taking this opportunity to come and represent their parties. It's a bold decision to be here. This is not common in this jurisdiction. Debates in particular, we've seen the first one between Mr. Sala and Mr. Cisse, so we are the second batch. It's a great thing to do, and I would just encourage that we come forward. Since we are 51% of the population, it is our right to be heard. It is our right to be part of the decision-making processes of this country. And again, I would say that the United Democratic Party is committed to 30% of representation of women, both in cabinet and parliament as a government. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. If you may turn your mic off, Ms. Yamundao. And finally, to Fatou Jallow, APRC, any reactions up to 90 seconds?
Yeah, I have no reactions. The only thing I want to do is to thank my party for being very much conscious in how to empower women. Because if you go to the youth sector in my party, I am the second deputy youth mobilizer, and the women mobilizer and other structures, they are trying to empower more women to be part of any decision making in the party. So that's a great achievement, and I am also urging that Gambian women, it's high time for us to get up. We were clapping for men, buying Asobi's cooking. It's high time the men also clap for us, because we need to be there. There are a lot of issues affecting women. It's because we don't have women representation in where decision making is done. So I think it's high time for us women to get up, and fight for the seat, to be in front, so that whatever decision is going to be made, we will be there to decide for our women. Because women know women problem than men. So if women issue come, the men, they don't know how we suffered or what are the challenges we are facing. They cannot defend us. But if we are there at the forefront, at the decision making, we'll be able to bring a lot of changes in the sight of women. I thank you.
Thank you, Fatu Jallo, APRC. My timekeeper, I'm not keeping time. You said you were going to. So I'm waiting for your signs and your signals. Okay, great. And now we're going to go to the first segment of the debate today, which will be talking about women. I think we will likely maintain the order that we go 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is fair. Are we all on board with that? So we go on women. Now we're going to start with your party, GDC. When you say women, what do your party think of women? Who are women? How do we relate with women? What can we do for them? What's your stance as far as women are concerned in the country?
Thank you, Haruna. My party thinks highly of women because, like I said earlier, there's nothing we decide or anything that has to do with the party that we don't represent women or send women representatives. And I think this platform is an example. So we are trying to empower women not only by putting them into positions, but by molding them in our systems, giving them educational support, providing training and skills trainings for them when it's necessary, because as we know, not all the women in Gambia are educated. Some are uneducated. But that in my party level, that means you're not useful. You could use skills to train you. We could also train women how to use resources. And those who are educated, we try to improve their standards for them to get quality education, and also put them up in platforms to mold them into leadership. Those are the issues I want to outline as of now.
Thank you very much, Yamundao. Next would be Tida Kijera. Now, Tida, let me ask you, what is your party's position or any policies on female genital mutilation or female circumcision, in other words?
Alhamdulillah, I'm back again. As a party, we know 51% of our population are women. Empowering them is among our first priorities. But protecting them too is another priority for us. Under GMC government, we will never sit and see women crying in this country. When you talk about the genital mutilation, it is a very complicated issue in the country. Because if you look at the issue seriously, there are religious leaders who are in support of it, but there are other people too who doesn't support it. As a party, we will stand with the people. There are issues we cannot impose on the society. We have to talk to them, and we have to find out the implications women are getting from it. And if they did not go through it, what is going to happen to them? We need to consult to know the problems it will cost, and after it, what is going to happen to them. So as a party, under the leadership of GMC, we need to find those solutions before we take an action on issues. But what we believe, their life will be protected. If I still have the time, I want to talk about some other policies we have for women. First policies for women is their health is our concern.
I was going to say, if we would answer the question and stay in lane now, it will be great.
If we?
If we would stay in lane to the answer to the question, FGM, what's your party's policy on it? If you feel you've exhausted it, we can move to the next person. We will come to the other policies as we go along, hopefully.
Okay, that is what I have. Thank you.
So that means you don't have a policy yet. You are saying you would listen to the public, whatever the public say, you will react to it. Is that your policy?
No, what I'm saying.
Yes, on FGM.
For FGM,
yes,
we need to investigate as a government.
Yes.
It is our responsibility because we need to find out the implications in the FGM.
Okay.
So the reaction of the people, what affects them, we have to know as a government. So it will be our responsibility to tackle that situation on that time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Honorable Yakumba Jaite, access to land, ownership of property. We know how hard Gambian women work. My mother is from Sukuta, and we know how our parents, our women suffer. Yet, they don't get to own property. Access to land is a major challenge. What would a UDP government do regarding this? And if you already do have an existing policy on it.
Thank you.
Your mic has to be on.
Thank you, Aruna. First of all, before I go to my question, I would just like to state UDP's stance on FGM. I think this is a very important issue.
No, we'll make it as a reaction. You will
okay,
react to those later.
A reaction, just as
yes.
simple. As the UDP government, we have a strong stance and zero tolerance on violence of any form against women and girls. I'd just like to put that out there.
Let's go to property. We'll come back.
Yes, so we'll come back.
Yes.
Okay. You've said it, that women are into, for example, I would say farming and access to land. It's a problem in this country. A UDP government will make sure of equal and fair distribution of our resources, be it land or anything else, and would also encourage women to own property. I have been working for FLAC, and we have going around, particularly in upcountry, there in even certain communities that women feel they have no right to own land. So they only borrow this land from their family members and farm and be paying them back from their proceeds. But with the UDP government, we will ensure, particularly the women in the farming area, to teach them that they have the right to own land, to make land accessible to the women, and have a fair distribution of our resources. This is our policy.
Thank you, Honorable Yakumba. Honorable Fatou Jallo. Marital rape is a concern in Gambia. What would be the APRC's policy about rape, but with particular focus on marital rape?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Drame, for that question. APRC is a party that has very good regards for women, and we don't want any violence on women. Our policy on that marital rape, we are going to say zero tolerance to marital rape. If that is done to any woman, we will like to get the report and we will take an action towards it, because we don't need women to suffer in marriage, much more in rape. So we are going to say zero tolerance to that, and we are not going to allow that.
Zero tolerance, and we are not going to allow that. You may turn off your mic as well, Ms. Honorable Yakumba. And now, Madam, any reaction to any of the responses as far as these questions are concerned? Any reactions? Do you have any opinion about marital rape or FGM or access to land and ownership of property in the Gambia?
I have a reaction on genital mutilation, which is FGM. We are in a country that people are Muslims, because I'm talking from my own point of view. Like she rightly says, these are issues we should sit.
We will assume whatever you say is still party policy, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay. That's why when I mentioned my policies, I did not only mention when it comes to governmental issues. I went down to the grassroots and to the local people. So most of these people, if you see they're still supporting FGM, that's simply because they don't know the repercussions or the harmfulness it does to women. But on the other side too, you hear women telling you, if a girl is not circumcised, the person is not decent. So some will tell you, is the religious norm.
What is your party position? Yes,
my party position?
no, FGM is good, it's bad, it's ugly, it's beautiful. What is it? What is your party position?
My party position is, it's debatable. We'll talk to them. We'll talk to both.
So it's a negotiation.
It's a negotiation thing,
for your party.
For my party, yeah.
So yes for party and no for Demba.
Yeah. So if we have more yes, then we vote it in. It is yes. If we have more no's, no's. Because we don't want to. We don't want to impose on people that this is what you should do or this is what not you should do. Because we know we are in a religious country and in an African society.
Thank you very much, Yamundao. Coming back to you, Tida, do you have any reactions, women having access to land, to own property, or marital rape? Your mic.
Thank you. The land issue is very important because women are farmers in this country. Most of the farming are done by women all over the country. They are in the gardens, they are in the furrows, they are in the land to cultivate coos, groundnut. So for them to be given equal right with men in terms of land leadership is very important. Under the GMC government, we are going to put a law that women will be entitled to land as men are entitled to it. When you talk about married rape, actually the woman's life matters to us. Under our leadership, we do not want to see women crying because of rape. Rape in generally is bad, but as far as marriage is concerned, if they feel they can't go anymore, we don't see there should be time for them to move ahead. You either separate than abusing the woman on bed. We are not going to tolerate it. Thank you.
We are not going to tolerate it. We'll come back to you, Honorable Yakumba. Any reactions to FGM or to marital rape?
I think we've stated clearly what our party's position is on FGM. And I would just like to remind us all that FGM is already illegal in this country. I think a law was passed, if I'm right, in 2013, criminalizing FGM. So those that are still doing it, I think we are the position where the current government itself is not implementing the legislation. We are all aware that these practices are still ongoing, and I would assure you that a UDP government will take the implementation of the FGM laws very seriously. That's my reaction. On the issue of marital rape, I'm not sure is yet to be criminalized. I also, on a personal level, I would say, this is not party policy, I feel marital rape should not happen, and if it happens, I think there should be law to address that, but I don't think right now we have that. And I would just like to react to Tida's issue that a GMC government would have a law to make sure that there is equal access to land. I don't think there is presently any law discriminating women's access to land. I think what is lacking is an action plan to ensure equal access to our productive resources. And a UDP government would put such plan into place. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fatou Jallow, any reactions to any of the comments or statements made here earlier?
Yeah, Honorable Mr. Drame, my reaction is on the female genital mutilation. As we know, the APRC government is the government that rejected this female mutilation, genital mutilation in 2013. That for our party, APRC, we say zero tolerance to female genital mutilation, because before any action or before it is put into law, there are a lot of investigation done to see the importance and the dangers in female genital mutilation. And when everything is compiled together, finally it is illegal in this country. And is there we stand as a party still. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we will move. I think we still have time on women. My timekeeper is not communicating, so I'm really not sure. But we will begin with you again. And we want to know, what is GDC's policy with regards to women that do informal sector work? House helps, in other words, midnights, market vendors, cleaners in offices, etc. Would you have any sort of policy? Because they tend to be very vulnerable and oftentimes abused, in fact. What would be your party, GDC's position, and what would you do for women in that cadre?
In a GDC government, we want to set a policy, because we know there's an act against abuse of women, more especially women that are vulnerable and work in houses. So we want to set up a data. We want to set up a data in our policies that whosoever is working, every individual in this country will have a data on you. So which will ensure the easiness of us accessing those people that are vulnerable, people that needs aid, people that are abused, and even criminals. Because it's only in Gambia you go in our border posts or get into our places without, all we have is our ID. You could come in a place and do things or do issues. Nobody could hold you or hold you accountable. So we feel creating a database is something that will help us to moderate women affairs easily. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll come to you, GMC. GMC, what would you do? We have seen the recent introduction of Ministry of Gender. The name changed. I think in the beginning it was Ministry of Women, but now it's been referred to as Ministry of Gender. Let's assume for a minute that you win on the 5th of December and you are in government. What would be the first thing you would do in that ministry for women?
The first thing I would do as a Minister of Women Affairs, I want to look into the health care system of our women. Women are really suffering in this country. If you look at the health sector, a lot of women are dying, either during labor or just ordinary sicknesses, because they do not have money to cure themselves. I would make health sector available to all the women all over the country. We will make sure no woman in this country will travel more than 5 kilometers without getting a health post, whereby even if it is going to be one single room with a health assistant, so that they can have their checkup. If it is necessary to go to the health center, they will facilitate those things for them. And I would make the health system free for the women, especially those who are having children at their age. The health care system will be free for them. And those two working as farmers, I will make sure they are introduced to a modern system farming whereby manpower will be used less and the production will high. And I will also invest in helping them to store their goods, which are not sell at the time they went to sell them. At the same time, open international market for them to be able to sell those goods outside of the country. At the same time, I will stand women with disabilities. I know if God didn't give you enough what he has given to others, there is problems in performing certain duties. I would make sure I stand with disabilities in women so that they can take care of their children. They can also work and earn instead of sitting at the bank sides to beg. I would discourage that totally. And I will also stand with women on training. Any work they are doing, if you are a businesswoman, we will introduce you to investment. You need to learn how to do certain business because they are doing it for so many years, but they didn't see any improvement there. They will sit on bidons at the market, selling inside the pans. For so many years, no development. I will make sure that will change. They will also move from selling inside the pan to a shop. And I will also introduce them to training.
Madam Tina, you're getting heated. but you're running out of time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Yakumba, we're coming back to you now, and we're going to look at an issue that has also been very prominent in the media lately: gender-based violence. Women are being treated like footballs in marriages now, been beating red, blue, white, and been treated in ways that are very demeaning and in most cases just general abuse. If a UDP government comes into effect, what would you do, and what would you say your policy would be on gender-based violence?
As it stands,
Mike. Yeah.
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jame. As it stands now as a country, we quite have a lot of laws addressing gender-based violence and violence in relation to sexual violence and the rest. And as a UDP government, we will continue to support women and also men, because it's important they understand human rights issues and to identify cases of violation, demand access, seek redress, and help them to enjoy a dignified life. We would also ensure the harmonization and domestication and implementation of the international protocols and conventions with national laws, particularly those relating to gender-based violence. We will enact laws, continue to enact laws that will prohibit all forms of gender-based violence and ensure the full enforcement. I think enforcement is the problem, because most of the cases regarding gender-based violence, I think the police are key, because they are the first point of call. And I think it is important, this would be part of our security reform policies, to train the police, since they're the first point of call on these kind of issues, for them to understand how to handle such cases when they come across them. This would be one of the areas that we are going to focus on as a UDP government. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, we'll come back to you, APRC. For some reason, you always come last because of the way we do it, but I think that's also a good position to be in. Would you not say? Yes, it is. Absolutely. Now, I think it may be essential, Madam Chair, you'll have to excuse me. I think to wrap up this segment, it may be important to give each of you 2-3 minutes in a language of your choice to just elaborate on some of these issues that we are touching on, so that by the time we go to youth, we will not come back to women. And then closing statement, you'll have a choice of answering the statements as you deem fit. Now, we talked about certain issues that our women are also concerned with. This is for you, Honorable Jallo. And key among them is having opportunities at the workplace, in government, in places. Honorable Yakumba has said 30% is their policy, whether it's in cabinet or is in other sectors, that women will have 30% representation. What is APRC's position when it comes to giving women as good an opportunity as men in this country?
Thank you very much, Mr. Drame, for that wonderful question. APRC is not a new party for Gambians. APRC have been empowering women. The first vice president in this country is a woman, and it is appointed by the APRC government. The first National Assembly speaker is a woman, that is Honorable Fatmata Jahumpa Sise, was appointed by APRC. The first governor, West Coast Region, Sifai Hydra, was appointed by the APRC government. So the APRC, the first female general in the Gambia Armed Forces, was appointed by the APRC government. So just to give you a short summary, that APRC have been standing to defend women, to empower women in all the positions, being it a ministerial position, being it local government, being it a national assembly, they are always there to support women, to make sure that women are seen, women are heard, and women are empowered in all action. So this same policy remains. We are still there to empower more women. And we started from the grassroots, that is to sponsor the girl child free education for girls. That is empowering women from the grassroots. The APRC government has done that, and we are still up to that to bring in more project or more issues that will empower women, that will make women to be heard in the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jallo. Now to Keba. If Keba has any questions before we wrap here, it will be great to run those questions. Did any of you pass any questions to Keba so far? If not, we'll give you a few minutes to do that. Now, Ms. Yamundao, when we talk about women in these parties and in these positions, a lot of us are of the view that you get all of these names, the women this, the that, when in fact it's still the men that are making the decisions. Would you not say this is the case also in GDC?
No, that's not the case in GDC, because in GDC, like I told you, we have a deputy party leader who is a woman, and we have.
Could be by name.
No,
Do
it's
they
not
actually,
by name.
are they effective?
No,
Do
they
have
are
a
very
voice?
effective. It's not by name.
Okay.
The youngest press secretary is a lady. I'm the PRO of KMC, and I'm also a lady. So we are always involved in decision-making boards. We took decisions and we table and reason with the men, because it's true, women cannot go without men, and men too cannot go without women. It's a collective responsibilities. But in my party, gender does not matter. What matters is who's efficient. If you can do the job, then you're there, regardless of your gender, skin type, tribe, or age.
Okay, now I'm going to throw the same question to you again, Ms. Tida. Women, do you think really, in your party or in any other party, do they just not have these names as a token? I mean, you are PRO, you are this, you are that, just by name. What do you think?
No, actually in GMC it's not by name, because my position, nobody is my boss there. I am responsible for that media. So I do my work. I only consult when it is necessary. So it is not by name. And other positions too are handled by women on their capacity. In my media team, I'm the only lady. The rest are men. So I'm their boss. So they have to answer to me. So that means it is not by name. They know they have to answer to me, and I'm doing my work as expected. So other field too, in the executives, we have women who are also top senior officers there, and they are doing their work. They only consult. But what people think we are in our executives just by name, in GMC is a different issue. If you are given a portfolio, you have to know your responsibility, and you have to do it. If you if you cannot do anything, it is not bad to consult each other. But that does not mean men are responsible to do all the works for us. No. Those days have passed. Thank you.
Those days are fast gone. Honorable Yakumba Jaite, what would be your reaction? Women are just being used to clap at these parties and being given titles and no responsibility.
Well, not in my party. I can confidently say that. And we've all witnessed what has happened in 2016 when the UDP executive members of the UDP, almost all the executive members of the UDP were incarcerated for going out to demand the dead body of Solo Sandeng, dead or alive. And when this happened, there could have been a dearth in leadership. But we had our deputy party leader, Ajiyam Seka. She stood up and took the reins. And she took the party through and made sure we had a coalition, representative of the coalition who ended up being President Adama Barrow, who won. And also during the fight, the UDP women were at the forefront of the fight. We saw what happened with the Kalama Revolution. So this means that we have a voice in our parties and we are encouraged. And I will just give you a recent example of what I witnessed with my party leader. The members of the UDP student wing came to visit to make a presentation, and they came with one woman woman in the group, a young woman, and she was quiet throughout the discussions. And the party leader noticed and told her, well, you are just one, but you need to assert yourself. People need to know you are present. So this goes to show the kind of leadership we have in place and the kind of value he gives to women, and the importance of our voice, how he valued the importance of our voice in the decision-making process of the party, and that will translate when we come into government.
Thank you. Honorable Fatou Jallow, APRC. Do you think women are being used by politicians only to get in office and get dumped at the end of the day? Yes, no?
For our party, APRC, I said no. Women are really empowered. Women are given responsibilities. They are not just there to clap and dance. No. I am one example of it. I am the deputy youth mobilizer of the party and also a ward councillor. And during that time, it was very tough, but they said, we need female to represent us. We need women to represent us. So you have to go and represent us. Because they see the competency in me. That is why they push me to go. And lot of them, all our structures, if a man is chosen, the seconder will be a woman. And they are respected in their position. They are given their dues as a woman. And they are also participating effectively as they are chosen to be in that position. So the APRC party is just there to empower the women, to make sure that women are heard anywhere, let them come out with their decision and share with people. So we are always there for women, and they are not just keeping us there to be clapping and dancing. No, we are a politic of difference, because as you can see, APRC is not in the government now, but we are the most popular and the most strongest party in the country. The most strongest opposition party in the country is because women are there to give the engine to the men, to our party leader, to make sure that the party is still functioning, is still very strong and going on fine. So I thank you all.
Thank you, thank you. in a moment, let's see what Keba has. Let's see what Keba has. You have a mic somewhere for Keba, or you just want him to pass the note to me? Either way, whichever is faster and easier. Okay, thank you. Okay, interesting question, but it's for you, Yamundao. It says the GDC had 7 candidates who stood as National Assembly, I suppose, for the elections, and lost to other parties. Okay, what has the GDC done for those women that represented 50% of all female candidates in the last National Assembly elections?
Okay, those 7, not only those 7, because we have 7 MPs, but we have a few more that are that stood for councillorship. As that now, some of them are in skills training, are doing skills training. Others are in other institutions, example Stratford and GTTI, because we feel leadership is a process. Because they failed during the former councillorship elections or MP elections does not mean they are incompetent. So we would, because the party is a new party, so, and we have a lot of young women there, so we're thinking of molding them more and getting them prepared educationally for the next coming elections in future.
Okay, now I'm being told we spent more time on this, and then we may not have the same opportunity to do in youth and children. So can we borrow the local languages and end with that at the end of the debate, or would we want to do a few minutes now based for women and then go into youth? Sort of, but then you can choose a language of your choice. We'll do that quickly. So let's start with you, Yamundao, 2 minutes. Timekeeper, please, let's keep these 2 minutes on.
Okay. maa ngi nuyu suma mbokki jigéen ñi ak waa réew mi nga xam ne tey teewee nañ muy koy seetaan muy koy déglu ba pare di jaajëfal Haruna mi nga xam ne moo indi initiative bi. If not for the first time, mënuma remember when women in political parties ñu come together for debate. ba pare di sargalal suma moromi jigéen ñi fi nekk ndax gisewuma leen ne si yeneen political party lañ nekk dama leen gisee ne ay jigéen lañ ni man te it is high time jigéen yi jugee si suñ bobul si génn si laaxute buñ nekkee because luñ baaxoo xam jigéen ñi in politics mooy tàccu ak fécc ak toppe kese waaye fu mu ne nii jigéen yi dañ jóg takka seen diggay ndax góor gu fi successful jigéen moo la boot moo la rewgante. So maa ngi ñaax ñoon xale jigéen yi nga xam ne ñoo nekk into politics du lu easy nag, if I must confess du lu easy parce que bari na ñoon jigéen yi neen ñooy xeexante man dama feel ne góor ñi duñ suñ problème ñoon jigéen ñi neen ñu supportante o ñu endorsante mooy suñ problème te ñoon ñoo uppa te góor guñ fi taxawal jigéen ñi buñ la falutee mënuloo falu. So maa ngi ñaax jigéen ñi nañ jéem a try ñu avoid loolu noonu te the upcoming elections bu ñëw nii ngir yàlla ak yonente bi nañ ko def peacefully because suñ toppee góor ñi si xay giñ nekkee ak xeex ak ŋàññiwante bi ñoo seen njëkkaa torox mbate parce que kuy daw looy xalaat mooy ana suma jëkkër ana suma doom yi. So message boobu laa am ñu moytu social media bi tam because of social media bi léegi ñu ngi see sanante voice notes di si waxaat lu ñaaw a ñaaw. Léegi dinaa ñëw si suma party policy mooy suma party GDC mooy the only party bi nga xam ne in all the constituencies in this country after being 4 years yi nekk opposition nii yóbbu nañ fa mbete sampa nañ fa marché sampa nañ ay lopitaan defar nañ ay yoon defar nañ ay tali ñu ngi dingale jigéen ñi si seen ay jàng.
ñu ne waxtu bi xoj na la. You want to borrow your 1 minute? You have a right. You have 3 1 minutes to take. You can take one of the 1 minutes now. Okay. So she's borrowing one of her 1 minutes. Go ahead.
ñoon dañ believe in social work gomuñ rek ne we have to become a government before ñu njëriñ doomi réew mi before ñu njëriñ suñ askan parce que suñ parti leader daf ñu day advice ne nit su dee tey yow yaa ngi si jaama nga gëstu sa dëkkandoor a ngi torox kon yow sa jaama des na te dama fil ne jaama rek nekkut nga eewu si jaama jug si jaama toog si jaama soo xiifee amuloo jaama so ñaakee amuloo jaama. So we believe it's a party that more young people and most especially women in politics comme ni ma ko waxee amul gox goo xam ne ñoon suñ liggéey eegut fa mbete suñ loxo eegu fa muy si lopitaan yi.
Waxtu bi nag léegi jeex na Yamundao. Thank you so much. And Tida will come to you. You have 2 minutes, any language of your choice, to wrap this up.
Yo assalamu alaikum bade musolu ngali konto mulbe jibe rola ani mulbina la nyi jibe la kota mbe tenturo ni jairo di la organize la mele nyi eveno organize fobi alhamdulillah musolu ntol fanal bi felenga opportunity soto pour nga nyatili Gambian ko la ka femfo mu yalon ko aben kono barni ajibe ntol fanal nga palasol le mara e kafol kono adu ntol believe tambe na wala mu ko palasol nyili manke danko doron palasoti ntol fanal la palasol mu palasol lete mu yalon ko abe kuma yala pour banku do ko kono wala yaken dam fele nga ñom musol jija mu yalon ko fanal bota parti dolle to kana ke la parti yo represent jang be tentu la wala be jayila wala ana bota je don ka bambandi ko politiko musolu ikoni mobe ko kula ifana nyanta ka jiyodo mandinke jele wala mu mol se la fi nyawanya pour musol yeta nyato on fangol melbi nyato alay opportunity dina folon keta nyato kolti patiyol kono ani man sakundal to nse kelo ke nyawanya pour musol yena nyato na ma tarantol fangol to ate kenola woto GMC party ntol be parerine pour ka musol ma koy pour ntol fanal yena nyato nkana ke dron unhuti kafo kono muso mu ye almamo wulu aya kulu faketa mo kendote aka molbe salende muso mu ye president wulu aya kulu faketa moltema president wote anim place kotengol ni kotengol wo muso fololo mu tica foloti suwo kono woto muso wote korla nyaton kayala nyim bankun kan ate korla kadula doku nyim bankun kan bari nimman finti nko mbe muku la ko male drong e baaje la ko banko nyinna do ko be kole yala le katun ko nadi am folo kono 51% nyim bankun kan ntol wo mu muso
tira wato bantala fereng fonge don to 1 minute la
don to 1 minute la nga je futa
okay 1 extra minute
so wo 51% all ni nata jibe dantandinde ben kono mul yalon ko woli karantale ye palasol mara bari mol mel yalon ko du wol man karandu ibe suwol kono bari fanal be maman kanne pour ila baluwol la fannala comme gadin sénégal ñew sénégal tia sénégal comme bindelal in general ani jende njaayol mul yalon ke be marché wolto ñil fanal musol leti mu yalon ko wo marché wala mi tol fanal la office wolte so mba katala le kaaje ko musolu itol fanal la marché way si balu kendo soto je amanke ko mo mem ministati o mem permanent secretary wo damala nyanda kamoto kendo borende GMC government nanata musolu mbe mbulo dunnal ko tole fo kanje wafila mi yalon kaka wafiro ke latri kunda afana mbala S5 o borende lale arabaraka.
Thank you so much, Tida Kijera, GMC. Now we go to Honorable Yakumba Jaite of UDP. 2 minutes, language of your choice, before we wrap up women.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jame. Just to state that UDP's commitment is to unapologetically target, improve the welfare and quality of life of women and addressing the high costs of living affecting women. Jigéeni Gambia, man sen doom sen xarit may wax ak yeen ñew di wax ak yeen ci turi suma parti United Democratic Party di len wax ne xam nañ sen taxaway ci rew mi di len wax ne xam nañ rew bi fim tollu ni niko olof yi di waxe jigen ya ko tié ma ñew nak di wax ak yeen en tant que jigen di wax ak yeen pour ngeen jappalé suma parti parce que bes buñ jëlé nguur bi bes buñ jëlé rew mi bépp jigen ak bépp doomi Gambia dina yek suñ taxaway ci yefi jigen particularly jigen yi liggéey ci agriculture ak farming jigen yi liggéey ci agriculture farming xam nañ ne dafa jafe pour jigen yi di am collateral guarantee ci banque yi pour am xaalis pour liggéey lolu UDP government dina ci taxaw be make sure ne jigen yi am nañ access to xaalis pour liggéey jigen yi am jafe-jafe pour am access pour ci am land pour bay UDP government dinañ ci taxaw be make sure fu góor mun a amee laan jigéen yi am nañ si laan jigéen yi nekk si marché bi di jaay seen légumes yi suñ toogee duñ am fuñ ko denca gis nañ Talib Bensouda lim def KMC create for storage facility UDP government dinañ taxaw be loolu am si region bu nekk si Gambia nga xam ne jigéen bu jaay sa jaay jeexut di nga am foo ko denca mu wàññil la yaaxu bi jigéen yi dee data wane na ne 556 juróomi téeméeri jigéen ak juróom fukka juróom benn dinañ dee si am doom et si every 100,000 live births loolu UDP government dinañ si taxaw seet loolu lan moo ko waral make sure ne jigéeni Gambia
waxtu xoj na la ñu may la 1 minute
dinaa lépp suma 1 minute bi make sure ne jigéeni Gambia am nañ access to prenatal antenatal care bu enough boo xam ne dina mun a wàññi dee bi ñoo dee si am doom parce que benn jigéen deserved pour dee si am doom inshallah jërëjëf.
Thank you very much, ladies. It's really great, and I think we're going somewhere. So there is a question here. Keba brought it late. I think we will deal with it later on. Because I'm being warned that we need to move on. So we're going to move to the second segment of the debate today, which we're going to dedicate on youth, young people. Young people. So we'll start with you, GDC, as always. So Ms. Yamundao, let's begin with you. Education in the schools. It's been called POP FLE at some point. It's been called sex education at some other points, and now it's been called whatever name it is. GDC government, what will you do to educate our young people in the school system? Because if we don't, we're having a lot of unwanted pregnancies, we're having rape, we're having young people experimenting on each other and teaching each other, influencing each other, learning each other. So would you say this should be part of the curriculum? And if yes, what is GDC's policy?
Yeah, it should be part of the curriculum because, like we know, most of us spend more days, hours with our teachers than our normal parents. Most of the time, if they close at work, is either they're cooking or doing something else. Sometimes they're even busy to ask you, how was your day in school? So I feel it should be included in the curriculum. And it's important that we educate our young on how to take care of themselves or to safeguard themselves to protect themselves. Because if they don't know, they might jump into something that might harm them in future, or through peer pressure. So that's why we feel it should be established in our school systems. And we were in a GDC government, we are planning to introduce vocational training. In that vocational training, we are not only concentrating on skills training, or quality educational training, or cultural platforms. We are also thinking of disciplinary measures, which is very paramount in our schools. Which should be paramount in our schools, because if students are not disciplined, sometimes it's very hard. I was a teacher before, and I know in a class sometimes you might have 1 million kids, but each and every one of them has a habit of its own.
Be careful with that million, because before it makes the headlines tomorrow.
Oh, okay. You might have, for instance, 20 to 30 kids in a school, in a classroom, and each and every one of them comes with his or her own background or home training. That's what they portray, that's what they bring. Sometimes it might not be the case, because you see some parents, if you tell them your son or daughter does that, they practically denies it, because he or she has not been taught such. But who knows? We have this the streets in between both schools and our homes. So I feel it's very important. And in a GDC.
Thank you. 2 minutes up. Ms. Tida, one of the problems that affect our young people is the issue of migration. We call it the back way. Young people are suffering and dying in the deserts and in the high seas. What would the GMC government do about migration?
Under the leadership of GMC, we're going to create work opportunity for our youths, because these youths who travel outside this country on back way, they did not go because they feel like to travel. They did not go intentionally, but because of the lack of job opportunity in the country, some of them complete schools, they don't have work to do, they are sitting at home. Some even have work, but the work they have, the salary they receive cannot even take care of their problems. You don't talk about their parents. So this frustration normally take these youths out of the Gambia to go through this Mediterranean Sea. Some died in the sea, some crossed. And those even crossed still now are staying in the camps. They cannot even walk and send money to their family. So I feel it's the responsibility of the government that felt their responsibility on the youth sector. On the GMC, we are going to provide work for our youths, because we have a good land for agriculture in this country. Our river is here. We are going to introduce youths on training. Those who did not have like higher education to be able to work in higher institutions will also go on that training to work for themselves. For example, in the skill sector, we have sectors like tailoring, carpentry, motor mechanic. These are invest so that youths can have work. When they have work and they are earning salaries, a good salary for that matter, at the end of the day, they will stay here. But when you look at the situation in this country, most of these works are done by foreigners. Not actually, our youths are not really, it's not that they don't want to work, but most of them doesn't have the skill. So the government...
Time, you want to borrow a minute?
Yeah, I want to borrow a minute.
So this would be your second minute.
So it's the government's responsibility to provide all those facilities for them so that they can also work. At the end of the day, everybody wants to live good. But if you are sitting in your own home, you cannot even provide half a bread for your family, then you feel you are useless. And most of us, the families we come from, we feel that we cannot just sit at home seeing our parents working and giving us food. So this frustration take the youths this bad way. On the GMC government, youths, don't worry. There will be enough job opportunity for you in the Gambia. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Tida Kijera, GMC. And by the way, I wanted to make sure this debate goes all women. So the designer of this wonderful outfit is a woman. Fightess at Hendon Court sponsored this outfit today. So it's really, really great. So let's move on now. I think we talked about rape, but it's increasingly with young people below 18, being abused by trusted people, uncles, fathers, people that are supposed to be looking after these young women, girls, abuse them at home, making them pregnant, sometimes very difficult for them to express themselves, other times getting unwanted pregnancies out of it. But also, if you can marry that point with sex education in the schools. 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Jame, for that very important question. I think sex education is very necessary in the schools to teach these young people about their rights, and particularly if they're not aware of their rights, they won't even know they have the right to report these cases. And most of the time, because these abuses happen very close to home in most cases, they're afraid to go out and report these cases to the police. So the UDP government, we have a policy to actually revive the curriculum of the basic secondary schools, to involve this kind of education schemes into the curriculum so that it will be mandatory for students to be taught about their basic human rights in relation to sexual abuses and violence. I think it's an important thing we would definitely take up as a party.
Thank you, and we come back to APRC. You've been in government before. The back way happened during your government. A lot of things happened also with young people. And APRC has credited itself for University of the Gambia, GRTS, first female vice president, first. But what have you done specifically for young people? And what will you do for young people if you win in December 2021?
Thank you very much, Mr. Drame, for that question. We have done a lot for Gambian youths. The NYSS is introduced by the APRC government, thereby to encourage the youths to go and learn skills and other activities so that they can be able to keep up themselves. And if you go to the musical industry, the APRC government has tried a lot. During our time, you have a lot of musicians coming up, a lot of young musicians, male and female, and which were sponsored by the former president, just to empower the youths and the women, the youths to be able to take up themselves, you know, to get something to hold on. Because most of these musicians, they all finished school and they were unable to get job because not everybody will sit at the office. So this is another way that the government opened for them, encourage the tourism and the culture industry so that youths can come on board. The PIA, the Navy and other areas, you know, we also bought a lot of boats to the river to make sure that we encourage the youths to go and help the Gambians, because in terms of tabaski and other fish, when these Senegalese go for their tabaski fish and other things, we face a lot of problem to get fish. So we bought a lot of boats and take it to Tanje and other fish riverside to make sure that we empower the youths to get something out of that work, because we want to make youths useful in this country. And definitely, there are a lot of youths who went to Bagwe, but it's not because of the government was not doing anything for the youth. The government was trying very well to make sure that Gambian youths are engaged, are up to something. But because of peer influence, some of them cannot. Some people were in government scheme. Some people have their tailoring shops. They have their shops. But still now they want to go to
You want to borrow a minute, or
yes.
you want to stop?
Yes. So
this would be your second minute,
no,
or your first?
first?
This is your first minute. Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
So the Gambia, this APRC government is still ready to help the youths, because there are a lot of plans that we have put in place. But because of the 2016 election issues, but still now those plans are on, and when we come back to government, we are going to make sure that all Gambian youths in this country will be happy with the party, because we will make sure that, because there is no government that can go or that can function effectively without the youths. They are the leaders of tomorrow. So if you want to go, you have to empower the youth, bring them up, let them see themselves in the system, and let them take part in the system so that the government can work effectively. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. And Yamundao, you said you wanted to talk about the issues of migration. That's what you were whispering. But now you have a chance to react to any one of them for 2 minutes. So migration or anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to react to migration because I feel it's a very sensitive issue. Because it's not just about them losing their lives or risking their lives. What if they are deported and brought back? Most of them are stigmatized. So in a GDC government will try to have a reprocessing or rehabilitation centers for those youths when they come back. Because we see most of them when they come back, they come shy, some come bitter, some come disappointed, because most of them sold everything they have, or maybe their parents gave them everything they have. So some of them even come back mad. So
your GDC policy will be?
So our GDC policy is, we will create rehabilitation centers, not only for those who are migrants, but even our youths that are in the prisons. So we feel youths are very important in our society, so we feel we should not cast them away. We should bring them closer to